Hello and welcome to Midnight 29's reading of The Party Adoption. Today will be the last reading of this particular story, so next week we will be moving on to something completely new. So I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for listening. Chapter 13. Scootaloo waved to Dash as she left. Bye, Aunt Dash. Maybe we can hang out soon. Rainbow Dash's response was just flying away, leaving Scootaloo trying to follow her movements in the sky. Mr. and Mrs. Cake were standing in the entrance of the kitchen. Pinky, why is this filly here? Isn't it a little late for a filly to be out? Asked Mr. Cake, a little curious, knowing that Scootaloo was an energetic filly. Pinky held Scootaloo close as she said, "Oh, I adopted her yesterday," Pinkie Pie said cheerfully, as she let Scootaloo go. Before that she later walked into the living room, knowing that she had to stay out of the adult pony's conversation. Mrs. Cake tried to say something, but nothing came out of her mouth. Finally Mr. Cake said, "Pinky dear, we're proud of you, but doesn't she already have parents? I mean, she said she had them." Pinkie Pie had to explain to them everything that had happened the past few days, but after about an hour they understood, and they felt sorry for how Scootaloo's life had been so far. She was just a filly after all, and all she was doing was suffering inside. Scootaloo was sitting on the couch, waiting patiently while the adults talked. If there was anything she learned, it's never interrupt an adult conversation. Pinkie Pie looked at the time on a nearby clock and said, motioning with her hooves towards her newly adopted daughter, "It's time to go to Twilight's. Come on, Scootaloo." Scootaloo jumped off the couch and ran past Mr. and Mrs. Cake like a lightning bolt. Pinkie Pie shook her head and grabbed her saddlebag, chasing after the filly. Whoa, she's fast for a little filly. Scootaloo was going so fast that she didn't see a grey earth pony going in the same direction. They crashed into each other. "Hey, watch where you're go—" Scootaloo stopped and saw it was Silver Spoon. She growled, "You! Why aren't you with Tiara in prison? You probably planned for her to attack me." Silver Spoon picked up her glasses and put them back on, and said with her usual collected voice, "Listen up. That wasn't my idea. Diamond Tiara was off her meds. I tried to stop her, but she hit me. It wasn't hard enough to kill me, but it was still painful," she said reassuringly. Scootaloo calmed down. Her anger turned into just annoyance. "Okay, I'm sorry for that outburst. It's just after what Tiara did. It's hard to trust any pony. Hey, Scootaloo, I want to be friends, since I've nothing to do but roll my hooves. That is, if you still accept me as one, after everything I did to you and your friends." Scootaloo walked up to her and stretched out her hooves in acceptation. "I accept." Silver Spoon was utterly surprised that Scootaloo would accept her alliance. After all that pain that her and Tiara did, it was strange. But Silver Spoon was not out of her Angra Munchen's fairies, so she just said, "Thank you, Scootaloo." Silver Spoon, after 10 seconds of silence and inactivity, left and said, "See ya, friend." "Finally I caught up with you, Scootsy. Are you ready to go to the library?" Pinky said. "Yeah," Scoots said, as they made their way to the front door of Twilight's library, a big oak tree that begged to be set on fire during an apocalyptic battle. Pinkie Pie knocked on the door, and after waiting a few minutes, the purple unicorn known as Twilight Sparkle answered. Her eyes were a little red. She had hardly got any sleep, and Spike was sitting on her back trying to sleep. Clearly an intense study session had happened. Twilight allowed the two in, and she walked back to her desk where a message was sent to her a few hours ago. As Scootaloo and Pinky walked in, the former looked around the room and saw her new aunts were there. She said hello to them, and once that was done, she sat in Pinky's lap, waiting patiently for whatever Twilight needed to say. Twilight levitated a small paper and read it to her friends. Dear Twilight Sparkle, your Schoolloos and Pinkie Mina Denine's Pie's presence is needed incoherently at Canterlot, where the penalty applied to Diameter will be applied in accordance with the current laws. Twilight's horn stopped glowing and she dropped the paper on the floor, her friends smiling, Schooloo being the happiest. Schooloo got off Pinkie's lap and danced around everywhere, making her aunts beside Twilight's laugh at how silly she was. Woohoo! Maybe now life will be easier, Schooloo shouted. I'm with you, Squirt, Dash said. After 2 hours the two left, though Schooloo was still wondering what would happen to Tiara. The two were walking home on the bumpy, dirty road. Upon getting close to the house, Schooloo saw something that made her get excited. A scooter. It was a lot like hers, but brand new. Mama, can you please get me this? Schooloo asked as she jumped around, hoping she would get a new scooter. Pinkie Pie walked over to the scooter shop, looking through the window, but Pinkie Pie shook her head. I'm sorry, Schooloo, but this costs 5,000 bits. It's too much. Schooloo's ears dropped as she heard the answer she received. Oh, okay. Maybe some other time. Schooloo was starting to tear up. She really wanted that scooter. Her old one was starting to get old and rusty. The idea of taking it with the thieves' tricks she had learned touched her mind, but failed to take hold. Pinkie picked Schooloo up and said, Shh. It's okay. Look, maybe I can save up some money to get it some day, sweetheart. Pinkie and Schooloo were now walking into the bakery. Oh, that reminds me. Would you like me to buy you a bed soon? Or do you still want to sleep with me? Your choice. There's no rush. Schooloo thought for a moment. Sure, she wanted to have her own bed, but sleeping with Pinkie Pie made her feel safe. Mummy, I would like to sleep with you. I feel safe when you're next to me, Schooloo said, smiling as her mother did the very same. Mr. Cake had just closed up shop. He was now in the living room with Mrs. Cake, taking care of the foals, pound cake and pumpkin cake. The two foals were playing with the blocks. Pinkie Pie walked in with Schooloo. She smiled at her. Oh, this is a perfect chance for you to get to know your grandparents and your baby sister and brother. Though they're your cousins, but they can be a sis and bro too, she said, as she pushed the frightened filly a little closer to her new grandparents. The foals were playing in the playpen. Schooloo tried to hide behind her tail. Schooloo couldn't quite understand, but she was scared for some reason. It was different for the small filly. Mrs. Cake chuckled at Schooloo's behavior towards meeting them. Just by looking at the filly, Mrs. Cake could tell she was scared, even though the filly had met them lots of times when buying cupcakes. Mrs. Cake put a soft, tender hoof on the filly's shoulder. I think I understand now. You're afraid we won't accept you, and you're afraid we might not like the whole grandparent thing. Well, don't be scared, little one. We love you even if you aren't Pinkie's birth child. That's what adoptions are for. And now you've got a loving family and a brother and sister. But since you're older, you're their big sister, Mrs. Cake said warmly. Schooloo was surprised at this, so she stopped hiding and smiled a little. So, can I call you Grandma and Grandpa? Schooloo asked, hoping they would say yes. They both nodded. Schooloo was so happy, so she ran in and gave her new grandparents a hug. We love you, Schooloo, they both said. The whole thing was very heartwarming. Pound and Pumpkin were clapping at the whole thing. They were young, but they could easily understand she was going to be their big sister. They smiled brightly and said in unison, We love you, big sis. Schooloo ended the hug and walked over to her younger siblings, who were in the playpen, and gave them a small hug. You two are so awesome, and cute too, Schooloo said as she gave both of them a noogie. Schooloo could finally stop being scared. The family had enjoyed their night together. They talked a lot, played some board games, and Schooloo was taught how to change diapers. Though the filly did not like it so much, but Pinkie told her that if she was going to be a big sister, she must do this. Reluctantly, Schooloo agreed. Hours passed by, and it was time for bed. Schooloo gave her grandparents and siblings kisses on the cheeks before she went to bed with her mother. Did you enjoy your day? The pink earth pony asked, and received a nod from her daughter. Schooloo started hopping up and down in bed. It was so awesome! I have 2 wonderful grandparents, a cool little brother and sister, and I got an amazing mom, even though I just got adopted by you yesterday. I just wanted to let you know. I love you, Mom." Pinkie felt happy to hear those words. She finished putting on her pink nightgown, rushed over to Scootaloo and gave her a small hug, and then started tickling her. "Mom loves you too, but I also love to tickle you," Pinkie Pie said, as the filly was tossing and turning as Pinkie commenced the tickle attack. "Please stop, Mom. Please, I give up. You win." Pinkie stopped and lay down in the bed, scooping Scootaloo close to her, while she smiled at Scootaloo. "Well, Squirt, tomorrow we'll meet to wake up early. We got a trip to Canterlot to the courthouse." Pinkie then covered herself and Scootaloo up and set her alarm clock to wake them up at 5 in the morning. Scootaloo rolled onto her right side and looked Pinkie in her eyes. "I love you, Mom." Scootaloo's eyes were now closed as she tried to get some rest. Tomorrow she was going to hopefully get her revenge. Somewhere near Ponyville, a certain pink filly was being delivered to Canterlot. Diamond Tiara was in a carriage, being carried by 2 guards in gold armor, 2 lieutenants to be more precise. So apparently that waste of organic matter has survived. That doesn't matter. She won't gain anything from this, she whispered as they came closer to Canterlot. "My father-in-law is on my side. I won't let the lunatics that compose Scootaloo's defense win, and the law won't touch me, because I am under the age of parental responsibility." Diamond Tiara started to drift asleep, tired. Pinkie was awake, cooking a nice breakfast for her and Scootsie. It was 5:01 a.m. Scoots was still asleep. Pinkie told her she could sleep until breakfast was done. A tired and cranky Scootaloo was waking up and going downstairs. Scootaloo walked into the kitchen and sat on the chairs and dropped head first onto the table. "Ugh! I hate waking up early, but I want to see what happens to her so badly." Pinkie had just finished cooking fries and a daisy sandwich. She placed 2 bowls on the table, one for Scootsie and one for her. They ate peacefully, and when they finished, Pinkie had to carry Scootaloo to the train station on her back since she was tired. Pinkie met her with her friends at the train station. "Hi, girls. Nice to see you made it," Pinkie said as they walked to the train. She saw Silverspoon. "Hey, why are you here?" "I'm here to see how this goes," Silverspoon told them as she went back to reading her book. An hour passed and they made it to Canterlot. Guards were waiting for them outside to take them to the courthouse where Diamond Tiara and Celestia were. When they arrived there, Scootaloo was wide awake and was astounded at how big and amazing the place looked. It only backed with 10 ponies, probably the Supreme Court. Scootaloo was told by a guard to sit by Celestia near where Diamond Tiara was sitting. Scootaloo was sitting on the right of Celestia and Diamond was sitting on the far left. Scootaloo looked at her mother, who was sitting with her friends in the audience section. Pinkie waved and Scootaloo did the same. Then Diamond Tiara's Laura, a green unicorn with an aura mane, came into the court, walking proudly. Celestia banged the soft wood with her hammer. "We are here because this filly, Miss Diamond Tiara, attempted first-degree murder. Diamond Tiara Rich. Do you swear to tell the truth and only the truth?" Diamond Tiara raised her hoof. "Yes, I swear." Diamond Tiara started her part of the story. "It was just a normal day. I was going to Sugarcube Corner, like my routine, when this petty thief," Diamond pointed to Scootaloo, "guilty of several thefts, acts of arson and vandalism, tried to take my belongings with violence." Scootaloo felt her anger rising. "She's lying! That didn't happen! Don't trust her!" The audience gasped at that. Celestia hit her hammer on the wooden table again and yelled, "Order! Order!" In response, Scootaloo stopped her protest. Being yelled at by a princess was very frightening. "I'm sorry, Princess. It's just she's lying," Scootaloo said with her tears welling up. Celestia looked at Scootaloo and said, "It's okay, little one. Just calm down. You are next." Scootaloo breathed in and out. "Okay, this is how it truly happened." Scootaloo started her part of the story, explaining everything and telling her what Silverspoon told her that Diamond Tiara did to her. Celestia looked to Silverspoon, who was sitting by herself in a corner. "Miss Spoon, come here, please." Silverspoon did as she was told and walked near Celestia. "Please turn round, so we can see the mark that Miss Tiara left on you." Celestia said as Silverspoon turned round. She saw, and the audience gasped, giving Tiara strange looks. Diamond Tiara's lodged up. Your Honour, that mark isn't enough proof for guilty. It could have come from a fight where the accuser has been involved in one of her many attempts to take some pony's belongings as theirs. And my client isn't the kind of pony capable to go outside and trying to kill some pony for amusement. The lawyer showed a paper. Her psychological profile proves it. Scully built up wrath and shouted, You see Diamond Tiara started it. It was really her fault, not mine, Your Honour. You see that document? It doesn't prove anything. Hush. Scully cried, No, no, no! All of you are not getting it. It was just a normal day. I was in my treehouse doing my business. All of a sudden, Diamond Tiara knocks on the treehouse door and bursts in with a kitchen knife and tries to stab me. Are you sure, Scully? Pinky wasn't there in the treehouse with you, was she, when it all happened? Celestia said, I'm sure, Your Honour. I'm certain. A few minutes later, one of Celestia's guard came to her, whispering, I was informed by Twilight about Diamond Tiara's punishment. It seems that she was guilty of wounding Scoots and trying to kill her. Upon hearing this, Celestia was shocked and didn't speak a single word for a few minutes. Diamond Tiara, I'm afraid you and your lawyer have no proof on what happened out there with you and Scully. The mark on Silverspoon's back could have probably meant that you scraped her something with the pointy end. And I'll press charges on you and your father. He's not responsible enough for your insane behaviour. And your father clearly wasn't watching over you properly and teaching the obstacles you will need to know for the future. And you'll be going to juvie until you're 18. Case closed. After all that, Scully, Pinkie Pie, Silverspoon, and her aunts were on their way back home, back to Ponyville. Pinkie was bawling her eyes out, thinking after what had just happened in the royal court. Thank heavens she didn't have to press charges. Now Pinkie herself could live a normal life with her daughter. Scully just cuddled up next to her mother. And that is the end of the party adoption. I hope you enjoyed. Next week we'll be looking at a different story, and I'll be leaving a link in the description to the rest of this one. Thank you again for listening, and stay brony!